You always get asked on signing day how many newcomers can play as freshmen, but before you address that, you had some guys who sat out last year, either played very little or redshirted entirely. Have you identified which of those guys you expect to make significant impacts?
I mean, not yet. I mean, I think part of that is, we had some guys that had some injuries, and it's going to, a lot of that depends on how quickly they get healed up, and how spring ball goes. So I think that we are getting healthier. We had some lingering stuff. I think this time last year we had maybe 12 or 13 players that didn't go through spring ball because of different surgeries, that kind of thing. And I think this year we're going to have, maybe 2 or 3 that don't go, and that's it. So we're a much healthier team than we were a year ago. I think a big part of that's, credit goes to Kaz and the strength and conditioning staff. Those guys do a great job. So we'll have more of a complement, a full complement of players. Last spring I think we had 7 offensive linemen that participated, and the number will be bigger this year, and hopefully we'll get to the point where it's 15, 16 during spring ball. So we're making progress there, but the great thing about spring football is guys that you expect to make a move usually do, and then there's also a lot of guys that you're not quite sure yet. They might not have played a lot as freshmen, and now they're comfortable, and so it's hard to put your finger on who those guys are right now. But I think coming out of spring we'll have a lot better idea.
Looking ahead at 2020, is there any certain areas you're trying to focus on?
No, we're going to sign a football team. I think with us, we're hoping 6 O-linemen, a couple of tight ends, a couple of running backs, wide receivers, and then up front, 2 tackles, 2 ends, 3 linebackers, and 4 DBs, and probably a kicker punter as well next season. So it should be basically a football team. I think we're kind of to that point where other than offensive linemen, we're where we need to be from a numbers perspective, and I think that's why we'll probably go a little bit heavier with that group next year. Like I said, 6 or 7 O-linemen, but besides that, just the rest of it will be just a normal football team, which you want to get to that point where you're signing that every year.
Does the change at quarterback that you're facing alter the kind of offensive linemen and receivers that you recruit to play around your quarterback?
I don't know that it does as much. I mean, I think good linemen are good linemen. I think that we want to get more physical and play tougher regardless of who the quarterback is up front. And so, you need size and you need strength and you need bulk to be able to do that. So that's part of the reason we're headed that direction. The schemes and kind of what we do and what we feature will change a little bit depending on who wins that job. But more than anything else, we just got to continue to build that part of your team. When you're good up front, you have a good football team. And you look at the teams in this league that are the best teams. They've got a good offensive line, they've got a good defensive line. So that's got to be a point of emphasis for us always.
How's Terrence Gibson's rehab coming in? Do you think he'll be ready for spring ball?
Yeah. He's going to be ready in a limited role, which is really pretty remarkable, given that he had an ACL surgery in September. He had a really fast recovery, way ahead of schedule. I mean, I went to visit him in December, and he was outside throwing, 3 months after surgery. So he's way ahead of schedule. I think it speaks to his athletic ability and what kind of athlete he is, that he's so far ahead of schedule. But we're going to be careful with him. Last thing in the world we want to do is set him back. He'll be non-contact all spring, which our quarterbacks are anyway. So, I'm anxious to see what he can do.
You mentioned earlier that you had 18 scholarships, and I think you said you signed 16.
We did.
Do you already know where those other 2 are going in terms of gray shirts or grad transfers?
Yeah, we got an idea. I mean, we have a pretty good idea. It's how that stuff goes. So, sometimes it doesn't work maybe the way you thought it was going to or wanted to, but yeah, we had a pretty good idea, where some of those are going to go.
You talked about also the players, your current players who hosted recruits and how valuable that is. How did you and your staff pick which players were hosts? Was it same positions? Was it hometowns?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with prior relationships. Sometimes it's same hometown or. I think in like Daniel's case, I mean, Derek Green was a former teammate of his at Rockhurst, and they're really close. And so that's kind of what got us in the door with EK was his relationship with Derek, and he's comfortable with Derek, and I think that was a big part of the recruitment of Danielson. But it's different really in every case. Sometimes it's prior relationship, or sometimes it's same high school, sometimes it's same position, sometimes it's same personality, sometimes it's just fit, who fits with whom better. Sometimes it's these guys are really good at this recruiting thing. Let's continue to give them more guys, and they're really into it and want to do it. And so there's so many factors. It's hard to identify like what's the most important, but our players did a great job of hosting guys. It can be pretty tedious work.
Saw on social media Garrett Choate put on scholarship. Anybody else?
Not right now. We'll kind of see where our numbers are, for spring, and we've got some guys that are deserving, and we'd love to put on, but Garrett's the one that we've been able to do it to right now.